you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with another review. Reviews. Words. Stuff. Pronunciations. We have a pronunciation review here. A beer review wrapped in a pronunciation, wrapped in a thing, wrapped in something else in the form of Draai Laag Brewing's Ragnarock Ale, aged in Laphroaig Brewing Scotch barrels. Whole lot of words, whole lot of pronunciations. First things first, Draai Laag. It took me a long time to say Draai Laag instead of Draai Laag. It's a brewery that I've liked for quite a couple of years actually now. Actually ended up kind of striking up a friendship with Dennis from Draai Laag, one of the owners and brewers. One of my favorite breweries. They do wild ales, they do funky stuff. Absolutely a fantastic brewery. But here's the thing. I've always said Draai Laag. Instead of Draai Laag, but I've finally, eventually kind of graduated to where I'm saying log more than lag, so I'm kind of excited about that. And then there is Ragnarock. Now, Ragnarock, R-A-G-N-A-R-O-K. I actually saw that, and when I first had this beer, and this is a barrel-aged version, when I first had the plain version, I said Ragnarock, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but as per my typical style, I don't give a shit about pronunciation, for the most part. Except for this review. So I just glossed through it. Lo and behold, I actually pronounced it fucking right because I looked it the fuck up. So it's Ragnarock. Who would have thunk it? Now, Laphroaig. Laphroaig. That's how it's pronounced. I say it Laphroaig, Laphroaig, whatever. Laphroaig. That's what I assume it's pronounced as. So we have a whole bunch of pronunciation butcherness going on in this beer. But you know what? Comes down to whether the beer is good or not. So we have an ale brewed with fermented yeast in Scotch barrels. And let's just have a little complexity at the top. It's in an Islay. Is it Islay? Is it Islay? Is it... who knows? It's a Scotch barrel. It's a peat moss-based Scotch barrel aged beer that we're going to be reviewing. So, whole bunch of words, whole bunch of whodunit when it comes to pronunciation. So we're just going to crack into this sucker after we read what the fuck's on the bottle. I'm getting ahead of myself there. So let's butcher the shit out of this and say Draai Laag Brewing Company Ragnarock. Ale fermented with elderberries, black currants, red raspberries, and black cherry juice, which is wild by design. It is a Laphroaig barrel-aged, borrowing the Norse term for the end of the world. Ragnarock is equal parts strong ale, Scottish ale, and Viking metal concert. Dark and smoky, a little on the dirty side. There's an asterisk there. I like dirty. This fruit-based fermentation starts out with a complex sour edge and mellows over time. The earthiest, peatiest kind of dirty there is. That was the asterisk there. DraaiLaag.com, and that be that. 90% attenuation for all you beer nerds out there. And we are clocking in at 8.8%. So yeah, label-wise, it's cool. I like it. I like Draai Laag's labels. I like their old school ghetto ones the most, but the new ones are pretty cool in their own right. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do this and see what this sucker has to offer. So what we're talking about here in the base of things is we're talking about what I assume is a English style brown ale, darker ale. Jacked up a little bit ABV wise, wild fermentation with a bit of peat mossy, a bit of smoky Scotch barrel aging going on. So let's see what she actually has. Half a pinky finger, just off white head that is dissipating into nothing, and it has that nice doo-doo brown color to it. Very like organic kind of homemade cider-ish, very brown ale. You put too much fucking Tetley iced tea, powdered iced tea in your iced tea kind of vibe, but it is brown and it is pretty vibrant. Spilling stuff everywhere. Look at that. Sometimes you swirl it around and get a little too much beer going everywhere. So, yeah. Anyway, first beer of the review night too, which makes shit go whatever. Anyway, as far as what it says on the nose, or smells like on the nose, very, 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 very smoky. Very peat mossy, very smoky. Getting a ton a ton, and this is what I usually get from Islay Scotches or Islay Scotches, whatever you want to pronounce it. I'm getting an absolute ton of burnt band-aids on here. That's what I get from these smoked scotches, nose-wise and typically taste-wise. So I'm getting a little peat mossiness, get earthy peat mossiness, a little bit of those burnt band-aids, a little bit of smokiness. A little bit of sweetness from the beer. Almost like, I know it said like an elderberry kind of vibe going on in there, or not just elderberry vibe. An actual elderberries with black currants and red raspberries. I'm getting a generic kind of berryness throughout it, but I'm not really getting much else beyond that kind of smoky Scotch barrelness. Yeah, so a bit of berryness, but for me, personally, it's kind of hard to get past that kind of Scotch barrelness. So I'm a Speyside Scotch guy. I like my stuff malty. I like it kind of leathery. I like it kind of banana-like. So that kind of smoky Islay Scotch, Islay Scotch, whatever you want to call it, kind of, it's not my forte. But it can work because I do like a lot of those smoky, peat mossy, kind of scotchy, kind of barrel-aged beers if they're done right. So, ton of Scotch spirit in the nose. It looks like an English kind of old aliness. Let's just dive and see what she's got. Cheers. It's definitely exactly what I thought on a nose. You're getting that huge peat mossy, and I keep saying burnt, kind of plasticky band-aidy thing. I know that turns a lot of people off, and it's not necessarily a Scotch barrel note for me, but I know a lot of people love that kind of burnt band-aid, kind of Islay Scotch thing that so many people love, whether it's the Laphroaig, whether it is Belvine, whether it is a what's another one I can think of? I don't drink them all the time, so they kind of slip my mind. Laphroaig, that's another one. A lot of those Islay Scotches come off with that huge peat mossiness. Not a ton of smoke in this one, but a huge peat mossiness and that kind of burnt band-aidy, very earthy kind of Scotch barrelness. And this has that in spades. The beer, there's like that apple cidery kind of vibe to it. There's a bit of apple cider vinegar acidity to it. You're getting like green apples, but you're also getting like red apples. A little bit of yellow apples kind of going on there. There's a sweetness inherent to it, but it's kind of counterbalanced with that kind of like Scotch barrel-aged bite that I'm getting from this. And once you actually let it sit, you swallow and let it kind of go through whatever phases it goes through, you're getting this like smoky kind of Scotch barrelness to it. So the barrel's definitely leading the day in this beer. Huge, apparent, very prominent. To a point where it's a little bit too big for what I want it to be. But I would imagine if you're into Laphroaig barrels or Laphroaig or however you want to pronounce it, you probably would be kind of into this beer right now. It's a little bit too much that peat mossy bear band-aid thing that I just don't like when I kind of Islay Scotches. That's pretty much it. Mouth feels nice. Beer is present. Barrel leads the way. And it's all about that Islay Scotch barrel. So if you're into Islay Scotch barrels, you'll like this. So let's get to that part. If you like what we like this, if you like Islay Scotch barrel based beers, let's see what else. Is it one of the better barrel-aged wild ales I've had as of late? No, not for me, but for some people that are into the Scotch barrel-aged or this specific Scotch barrel, would you like this beer? Most likely. And value and availability, can't speak to that. It's probably a brewery-only stuff, so you have to go there to get it. And price-wise, no idea. And like I said, just to say, where does this beer land? If you like what we like this, if you like Islay Scotch, that's where this beer lands. And it's not my personal kind of Scotch. If you can see up here above my head, which you actually can't see on camera, I have a bunch of Scotch bottles. They're all Speyside scotches. They're all non-smoky, non-peat mossy scotches. Does not work for me. So it's not so much that this beer doesn't tickle me pink. It's just the barrel isn't my kind of barrel. And while I feel like there is a bit of goodness in here, I don't think I personally can pick it out. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review better than I did. If you didn't, anywhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, and all 4 of those places. And yeah, another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice Scotch barrel aged beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.